10 May 1940. What if the world never truly understood the darkest blueprint Hitler believed would secure his unstoppable victory? A plan conceived not simply in military offices, but in shadow-drenched bunkers where whispers of conquest mingled with the smell of damp stone and fear itself. And what if, hidden inside that plan, were moments so chilling that even hardened soldiers later swore the night itself seemed to breathe? Hitler's strategy to win World War II in 1940 hinged on a terrifyingly precise sequence. First, the lightning invasion of Western Europe through the Ardennes, a region every Allied planner dismissed as impossible for armor to cross. Yet Hitler gambled everything on this unlikely path, ordering thousands of panzers to slip silently through the fog-laden forest on the morning of 10 May, their engines rumbling like something alive beneath the earth, while German engineers moved ahead under strict silence orders, cutting trees by hand so the Allies wouldn't hear the mechanical bite of saws. Some soldiers later described an eerie moment when they found an abandoned French sentry post still warm, a half-eaten meal left on the table, radio static crackling like a distant, dying heartbeat. One of the first signs that the German thrust had passed through the forest faster than human anticipation could track. During the push toward the Meuse, medics worked under fire so brutal that they often crawled between burning vehicles to drag men out before ammunition cooked off, and several reported a horrifying phenomenon during the night of 13 May. The fog turned a shade of orange from the fires, and silhouettes of wounded men staggered through it, calling for help in voices so distorted by shock that even German troops hesitated, unsure whether they were hearing survivors or something else wandering the battlefield. It was during this night that Hitler received news that his gamble had succeeded. The French and British lines were collapsing, and he believed destiny had finally taken his side. The next phase of his plan was even bolder. After the encirclement at Dunkirk, where over 300,000 Allied troops barely escaped the tightening German ring, Hitler intended to starve Britain into surrender through a combination of relentless U-boat attacks and the Luftwaffe's brutal bombing campaign, expecting that the island nation would break once London burned. A Luftwaffe crewman later recalled the haunting sight of the Thames glowing red beneath the flames, while injured civilians stumbled through smoke-choked streets, their shadows flickering against broken walls like moving remnants of a dying world. Beneath Hitler's confidence was a chilling delusion. He believed that taking Britain down would deter the United States from ever joining the war, and he ordered preparations for Operation Sea Lion, a cross-channel invasion that was never launched but was rehearsed obsessively in German coastal camps, where young soldiers practiced climbing into landing craft at night, the cold wind slicing across their faces as they imagined leaping into British gunfire. Some accounts from those camps describe an unsettling ritual. Troops were instructed to march in pitch darkness without turning on lamps, and several swore they saw figures moving alongside them, silent, pace-matched shapes that vanished whenever a flare lit the sky. Meanwhile, Hitler's advisors drafted secret plans for exploiting Britain's surrender, seizing its navy, dividing its empire, and even repurposing London as a German administrative hub, a future that he believed was within reach by late 1940. Yet the plan carried a fatal flaw. Hitler underestimated both British resilience and the limits of his own forces. While he dreamed of total domination, Luftwaffe pilots were being worn down in the Battle of Britain, flying up to 5 sorties a day, returning with trembling hands, scorched uniforms, and stories of seeing pilots in burning aircraft who continued firing until their canopies melted in the heat. One such pilot crash-landed near a ruined farmhouse and later wrote that the only sound he remembered before blacking out was the faint, rhythmic tapping coming from inside the smoldering wreckage, though no one was found inside when rescuers arrived. By autumn 1940, Hitler's once flawless momentum was sputtering, and though he continued to promise his generals that Britain would fall in weeks, Allied intelligence was decoding German communications at Bletchley Park, unraveling his strategy thread by thread. Still, the soldiers who lived through those months never forgot the eerie stillness that fell after each bombing raid, when smoke drifted like ghostly veils across shattered streets, and medics searched the rubble while hearing distant cries that seemed to echo long after the living had been found. Hitler's grand dream, to win the entire war in 1940, was built on speed, terror, and the belief that Europe would collapse before his momentum did. But history proved that even the most meticulously crafted plan can rot from within when built on fear, arrogance, and a misreading of human will. And now the real question that should haunt anyone who studies this dark chapter is this: if Hitler's 1940 plan came so close to reshaping the world in his image, what unimaginable horrors might have unfolded had just one more of his gambles succeeded?